and it says we're live. So let's give it a minute. 3 seconds, 4 seconds of live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is nice to see you here this evening on a Tuesday. I have just not been able to sleep for 2 whole weeks. Like I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning and I can't go back to sleep, even if I went to bed at 1 o'clock. And it's making me a crazy person.
I've been having some weird sleep patterns as well. But you know what? I'm being productive at night, which is rather than just sitting around doing nothing. So
yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube videos laying in bed.
Do you?
It's probably not the thing that I should be doing, but that's what I do.
And then you got me over here, and I'm like going to bed early and waking up uber early. I mean, I'm in and out of the grocery store by 8 a.m., which is asinine to me. Because if you'd have told me about I've been doing that like 10 years ago, I'd be like, "Are you out of your mind?" Yeah, right.
Yeah, Vipers. You're getting in touch with your inner old lady.
Exactly.
You need your sugar fix. I know exactly what's going on. You're just using the grocery store as an excuse, and then it's like gonna go get Bay. No.
Those two don't make. It's either or. It's never both of the things. So I can't do that.
See, there's a Starbucks at my grocery store.
Oh no! So, there's one in ours too. Yeah, it's dangerous. And you're on the way out. You're like, yeah, I'll get one.
It's not as good as a real Starbucks, though.
No, it's not.
It's not as good as a real Starbucks. They, the people who work at the grocery store, get trained to make the Starbucks. It's not the same.
Oh, this is like an actual Starbucks kiosk, like built into the store.
Yeah, so is ours.
Yeah,
so is ours. But they don't do it exactly the same way somehow. Like it doesn't all taste the same.
It's not the thing, and they don't have the same menu with the regular Starbucks either. But hey, if you need it in a pinch, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm at the grocery store and I want a latte, I'll just go. I don't. But the thing is, Jeremy, I don't drink that much coffee. I drink 3 cups of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, he's not the unlocker. He doesn't begin every video with a coffee drink.
Yeah, I mean, I like my coffee, but I don't drink coffee typically, after noon.
60 people here already.
Hello, people.
And we haven't actually technically even started yet.
No, we haven't. We're just letting people. Yeah, we're giving people a chance to come on in.
Right. In any moment, we got Zach on the 1s and 2s tonight. So Zach is going to be on the 1s and 2s. And he's going to do what he got to do.
Yeah, I do. That. You're rocking the steel wheels.
Right. He knows Prestige, baby.
Oh yeah.
Whoa! Oh my goodness.
Rocking the steel wheels.
Hey, that guy that we were just talking about, he's in the chat.
There he is.
Yeah, we were just talking about you. In a good way. We were just talking about you.
We were just talking about it. Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. The outpouring of support for Top Tech Geek, just scrolling through Twitter, has been phenomenal. I know that some people have been hooking up things here and there. Some people have been talking to other brands to make sure, he gets taken care of and everything. I think it's been really cool to see. So no pressure. Don't let us down.
I'm glad you said that because I told him if he makes me look bad, I'm coming after him. But seriously,
just wait.
If you support that he's getting, but dude, just make sure you keep putting out the content, baby.
If I will have success, everybody will turn on you.
I will revoke your Canadian card. Okay, I'll take that away from you.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you hit on 100,000 subs, everybody's gonna hate your guts. Just enjoy it while it lasts.
Don't listen to the grumpy old man here. Okay? He's right here. You just like to yell at clouds, right? This guy.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm old and frustrated.
You're only 6 years older than me, so it's no big deal. It's just a number, bro.
It doesn't feel like a number.
Terry Warfield was complaining about turning 35, and I'm like, what? Dude. Come on, man.
Yeah, he's a youngin'.
He's a kid. Yeah. Terry, you're just a kid, bud.
These youngins don't know no better. These youngins don't know.
He blocked me, so.
Oh.
Ouch. That was awkward.
Well, I made an offhand comment. He got upset about it.
Cucumber.
Yeah. I just made a comment about one of his, and it was supposed to be a joke, but he didn't take it as a joke. So fine.
No big deal.
After the fact, I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I was already blocked.
All right, Zach.
So I don't know what the conversion is, but today I'll do the conversion right now. So today here in Calgary, it was 33 Celsius, which is 92 Fahrenheit. It's
Hot.
just
Hot.
no, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, it's not been too bad here, but like the poet says, it says it's 107 degrees in LA.
Oh my God.
The people in LA are so much. They're such sissies. If it's not 72 and sunny, they're melting or freezing to death.
Fired! Shot fired on the podcast.
I mean,
oh my goodness!
I mean, I would take it. I would.
We haven't even started the podcast yet. He's already firing shots.
42. I can't even imagine 42. No, anything above 26, and I'm in my basement. Forget it. I'm in the car with the air conditioning on. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah. Janos is asking about how things are in Iowa, and it's been crazy. Like we had trees down, like big, like half of trees were just like off and like in people's yards and every place else. We still had limbs, like the city said, put the tree limbs out on the side of the road and we'll come pick them up. And so we still had all kinds of tree limbs, but they finally came today and picked them up. I live about 30, 40 minutes away from Cedar Rapids, and my wife works up there. And my wife was at work, and when the storm came through a week ago Monday, and it tore the roof off of her building.
Holy cow.
And Cedar Rapids, they're part of Cedar Rapids that still don't have power. I shouldn't have lost all of my LA subscribers. They know it's true. That's why they live there. That's why I would live there. I would live there just so I could like get used to 72 and sunny all the time.
Okay. Well, if we're going to continue to offend people, we should do it in an audio format properly.
Okay. All right.
And,
so
hit the record button.
I don't have that set up.
So you're going to pull the audio from StreamYard
That's
after?
that's what I end up doing anyway. One of the things about the Rodecaster is like it corrupted my SD card and I couldn't record anything anyway.
So let's clue people in real quick here. You're not using the Rodecaster anymore, are you?
Not right now. I've tried to put together a solution that, one solution to rule them all. So right now I'm using a universal audio interface.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the Painfully Honest Tech podcast, and here we go.
All right.
Well. Good evening, friends, whoever's here, people who, maybe friends and enemies. I don't know. It could be that the podcast pregame may have garnered me some enemies. I don't know. Anyway, it's Tuesday night. It's the night where we do the Painfully Honest Tech podcast here on this 18th of August, 2020.
I can't believe it's the 18th already.
Yeah, I like the days, and nothing means anything anymore. The days, the weeks, the months just don't mean anything anymore.
Let me help you all out. It is August 18th, 2020. But on August 20th, which is 48 hours from now, the Pixel 4a goes on sale. On August 21st, which is the very next day, the Galaxy Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra go on sale. So that might help you out a little bit.
Yeah, I have to admit that I only know it's the 18th because I know when the 21st is.
Wow.
It's a lot of my calendar is relative to like what's happening with technology on certain days. So yes, I know. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to get a Note 20 or Note 20 Ultra yet. We'll talk about that more as the show goes on.
I thought you took it. I thought you were getting Note 20 Ultra.
And I haven't ordered it yet.
Didn't you do the poll?
I know. The poll, the Twitter poll was really close. Or no, I did the same poll on Twitter and on my community tab.
The community tab wasn't necessarily close, last I remember.
Yeah, the community tab was more ultra.
Yeah, I thought we were
then-
going with this.
The community tab was more ultra, and then it was don't get one, and then it was get the Note 20. But most of the comments on both Twitter and on my community tab, most of the comments were about being interested in the Note 20. Like,
Oh well, you know what to do then. You got to go get both of them.
if I could go get both of them, then things would be different. but I only got so much money, so I got to pick one. And I mean, ultimately, I thought about it. I thought about getting the Note 20 just because nobody else is really covering it at all, right? But then I thought, if I were buying a Note for myself, I would not buy the Note 20, right?
Mhm.
So
I mean, based on what I've seen with some of the reviews and what I've seen like on a spec sheet, the Note 20 is a good phone. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just priced kind of like you were doing like Lines of Crack with John Belushi. I don't know. Like
well,
this,
the thing is, like, if you go look at the specs for the Galaxy A71, that is virtually the same phone as the Note 20.
Yeah.
Without an S Pen, and it's $600. That's like the top of the A series phones is the 71.
Mhm.
And so I mean, are you getting that much more by paying an additional $300? No, it's $400. You're getting an S Pen.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know if the screen size is this. I'm glad they made the screen sizes similar this year, like one 6.7 or 6 and the other 6.8 or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm glad they didn't make the Note 20 appreciably smaller.
Yeah.
Than the bigger one, but
It's basically curved edge. I think one 6.9, one 6.7. It's very negligible.
Don't talk to me about curve. Don't talk to me about curve right now.
I gotta say, like the flat edges with the chamfer here on my V60
Mhm.
is very sweet.
Flat edges, baby. I don't know why Samsung felt like it was a good idea to make the Note 20 Ultra a waterfall display. What is happening here?
Well, it's not
Silly.
quite. I mean, it's not quite. I'll say this though. I mean, I personally don't have any problems with it on my Note 10 Plus, but sometimes you want to get right to the edge when you're using the pen, and you can't. Like your pen falls off, right?
Yeah,
So,
like you're writing and then it slips off. Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
pain.
kind of annoying. Yeah.
It's a pain, and that's the thing. Sometimes manufacturers make these choices for aesthetics that then end up being ergonomically a pain in the rear end.
Do they not do R&D though? Aren't you supposed to figure out stuff out in R&D?
Well, yeah, but they have to like care. They that's one thing, people are saying these days that Apple is listening to their customers and changing the things that the customers are asking them to change.
They're still taking 30%, right, Epic?
Oh,
You know what? Before we even get into all that, I was talking on my live stream this morning about this Note 20 and its features. I mean, I know it's a good device. I know it has all the specs that you want a flagship phone and all that good stuff. But between that waterfall type curved display, which is practically like anti-conducive to S Pen using and things like that, not to mention screen distortion and accidental touches, then you got that jalopy of a camera bump on the back, which you can't even put it flat on the surface without tapping and then bumping all over the place. You try to use it. It's ridiculous.
I like the chunky.
fully-
I like that chunky look. I mean, I think it looks cool.
I think it looks nice. I think the super gigantic camera bumps ended up not looking as bad as I thought they would when they were first like rendered out for us to see before the phones came out. But like iPhone 11, that looks fine, and so. But the thing about the S20 Ultra or the Note 20 Ultra is that camera bump is fully like 1/4 of the back of the phone.
Yeah,
It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge.
Like I feel like you could use it to like take like the edging off like the top of your like your table if you wanted like sand something down.
Yeah, you just gotta. You need a plane like, oh, I got a rough patch on the table here. Let me plane it down.
For as big as it is, I'm glad it takes excellent pictures this time around because the S20 Ultra was a complete utter failure.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So good job, Samsung. Good job on that. Good job.
But hey, you know, if you talk about how the S20 Ultra was a failure, people get upset.
I don't know why.
People get mad. Well, because they bought the S20 Ultra and they're Samsung fans.
Listen, when you charge $1,400 for that phone and your main marketing point is the camera system and the phone fails at the basic fundamentals of taking pictures, it's a fail.
You mean like focusing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a fail.
It's a big time fail. Samsung's been having their share of big time fails in the past like 18 months.
You know, okay, so the note keynote. I'm sure you guys already talked about this, about how weird and awkward it was, right?
Oh my god.
It
was so much great material for me.
I mean, it felt like there were parts that were recorded not in order and it was kind of put together. Anyway, other than that, what really ticked me off about that whole thing is about how they kept on referring to the global economics and the pandemic right now, and you know, filtering that into how they're adapting, like the new normal. This is not like, how many times do you have to refer to what's going on in the world? Like we get it, and I hate
saying work and play.
Exactly.
I don't know how many times they said work and play, but I wanted to jump through the screen and strangle them.
I did not like how they kept on referring to the current worldwide situation as a way to market their product.
You mean you didn't like how they were talking about the new normal?
Yeah. Oh, it ticked me off.
Here's the new normal. The United States has what, something like 20% unemployment rate, and we're sensitive to that. So here is a $1,300 phone.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that companies shouldn't get the prices that they deserve to get in, but I don't think anybody can make the argument that the Note 20 for $1,000 with a plastic bag and 1080p screen. I don't think anybody can make the argument that that really makes any sense whatsoever.
Well, I mean, okay, if they're going to be consistent with their message year after year, where the Note has everything in the kitchen sink thrown in except for a headphone jack, I mean, you got to kind of keep the pricing the same. We know that Samsung, their strategy has always been in the mobile market to flood the market. You know, they got their J series and the A series, and you got the Galaxy series, and you got the Galaxy Note series, right? So you flood the market to get the name out there. But then when you go to the carrier stores, as an example, you'll find that more people are picking up like that. Like the A51 is a terrific device, as we saw.
Yeah.
2 years ago, the biggest selling Samsung in Canada, for example, was the J23. So if they were to all of a sudden come out with a Note that's $300 less than last year's Note, I think that would almost look worse. I don't know. I guess you got to kind of keep that narrative, like, okay, this is our top device, top price. But then here's a secondary Note, the Note 20. But then it almost seems like it's gimped. I don't know what other word to use. But, you know,
it's funny you talk about pricing of the Note, because the Note 20 Ultra is actually less than the S20 Ultra.
I know that's the stupid thing.
That's weird.
Yeah. So here is the A71. For those of you who are listening, Samsung Galaxy A71 is a 5G phone, 6.7-inch AMOLED screen, 128 gigs of storage. Let's see here.
So this basically looks like the Note 20 Ultra without an S Pen.
It's the Note 20 Ultra without an S Pen. Yes, I'm trying to find on here the chipset that it holds.
Or the Note 20. I shouldn't say Note 20 Ultra. It's the Note 20 without an S Pen.
The Note 20, correct. I mean, look at that. That's actually pretty cool looking back for plastic. It's like,
is it a plastic
iridescent? It's a plastic back, but
Yeah.
it's got like an iridescent thing on one half, and then like a darker thing going on in the back. Yeah, so quad cameras.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the
This looks
64
solid.
megapixel main camera, which I think isn't the Note 20 a 64 megapixel. I don't know if they're the same cameras or not, but it'd be really interesting to
They're
compare
both
the
thick.
Note 20 to this phone.
Yeah.
I might do that.
This looks solid. Now, I'll tell you this. Like someone asked in the chat here, where was? Do you guys think the Note will crash and burn? KS asked, do you think the Note will crash and burn? Okay, so I can tell you this. I've talked to a couple of my friends that own carrier stores. We talk about this every year, and they're getting more inquiries about last year's Note, the Note 10, the Note 10 Plus, than they are this year's. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's a great time to buy last year's flagship. And honestly, if you put them side by side, it's small changes, maybe a boost in power, maybe a little bit bigger screen. You're still going to get the same security and OS updates.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to save yourself a bundle, look at last year's. If you're really like, what, then you already know that you want the latest and greatest. But if you're truly on the fence, put them side by side. Yeah.
I mean, the Note 10 Plus is still looking mighty fine this year.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I was disappointed with the Note 10 Plus and the Note 10 last year, yeah, you're right. I mean, if they are a discounted price from what they were, then yeah, they're definitely. But look at this. Look at this. Battery on the A71 is 4,500 milliamps, right?
The same as the Note 20 Ultra. Wow.
But the Note 20 has 4,300. So you're even like this is better spec'd than the Note 20, and it's a $600 phone.
Yeah, the tier 2 market. I mean, I think we're seeing more of this now this year than last year because of economics. Because of TCL's shakeup, what they brought, more people are looking at that secondary, that tier 2 market. And I think I mentioned this either on one of my streams or on Twitter. When I purchased my house, my realtor said to me, give me your top 10 things that you're looking for. Okay, so this area in the city, bungalow, however many bedrooms, things like that. Top 10 things I'm looking for in a home and a location. Okay. Then he said to me, put your top 4 or 5 things in the top 4 or 5. So rearrange it, what's most important to you, because you're only going to get 4 or 5 of those things realistically. Nowadays, it seems like with mobile devices, that's almost the smart play too. Like, what's really important to you? Well, I need a large battery. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe the iPhone SE is not for you. Right, but the iPhone 11 would be. I need an awesome camera. Don't care about video. Pixel 4a, give her. Right, that's a Canadian thing. Give her. Right, all right, let her go, boys. Right, and stuff like that. So, I would definitely, if you're in the market for a device, look at your top 10. Look at your top 4 or 5 things that you need, and I think that will help you direct which direction you want to go. If pricing's a huge thing, you already know where to go. Right. Pricing is huge for people. I think that's the top 1 or 2 things for most people. I mean, outside of the tech enthusiast environment.
It has to be, right? There's not a single person out there who's not a tech enthusiast, who doesn't watch all these videos and have all these conversations. There's not a single person out there who would say like, oh yeah, I love paying $1,000 for an iPhone or for a Samsung or whatever. They don't want it. They're willing to sacrifice certain things in order to stay below that price point. So here we have the A71 5G, and it is everything that the Note 20 is minus the S Pen, and in some cases it's better. It doesn't say
what's the price?
$600.
That's killer.
Yeah, I'm buying it right now.
He's just buying it right here on the air.
I'm buying it right now.
Before you click that button, Jason, hold up.
What?
You know the discussion we had on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Did you do it? Did you make the purchase? Did you make the pre-order?
Not yet, because
no! Don't you dare push that button, Jason.
All right, let me show you here. I'll show you my cart. Look what's right here. Okay, it's sitting there.
That's
waiting.
That's not a purchase, Jason. It's just sitting there.
It's sitting there. I'm ready to do it when it's time.
In time, Jason.
When it's time. So, but this this to me, maybe you guys in the chat can help me out here. Would you be interested in hearing about the cheaper Note 20,
The A71?
A71?
I would totally. Yeah.
Because to me, it's just like, I've got the Note right here. Look, here's the Note 20 Ultra. This is $700 more expensive.
Yeah, be careful with it, Jason. Some people are seeing your address. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Don't look at it just says where I am. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm tempted by this. I'm tempted by this because let's see what the white looks like. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty
And
nice.
it's a polycarbonate or quote unquote plastic back, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it has. And then we've got a blue, and we've got this black color is the nicest because it has that.
I need to caution you that there's probably a good reason why Samsung doesn't market these A line of phones here in the US.
What is that?
Nobody cares about the A line in the US.
Maybe they should though.
Maybe
But if you go to a carrier store, are they not on display? They are up here in Canada.
no,
The A and
God,
the J
no.
series.
No, in some stores they are. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, if you go to T-Mobile,
Ah,
they might not have prominent placing like the Galaxy S series and the Note, but if you go to I remember going to a T-Mobile and seeing a bunch of them.
Like, I don't know about you guys in Canada or the United States, but up here, you walk into a carrier store and you'll have like the wall there with the demo phones or the Apple phones, and then next to it you'll have the Samsung. So you'll have your couple Galaxies, couple Notes, and then a J and A. And it'll show you kind of like contract pricing or agreement pricing, and then you'll have Google over here doing their Google thing, and then your
I
accessories.
know at least at
right?
Verizon. Verizon is not pushing this phone. Not at least on display anyway. Not at all.
No,
Mhm.
and you can't. It's hard to even find these phones at the Verizon store. Of course, but to me, like, I want to cover the Pixel 4a, Genosis. I do. I want to cover the Pixel 4a. I'm very interested in it. I think it's going to be a really good phone.
It is.
But they didn't send it to me, so I have to wait until I can buy it. And it just happens to be coming out at the same time as these Galaxy phones, which makes it pretty tough for me to make a choice.
We were just talking about phones that you buy for the channel and phones that you buy for the channel that get you views. I don't think they're going to get you the views that you're looking for. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
Well, I don't think the Pixel 4a isn't going to really get me. I mean, I'm just speaking from experience. I got decent views on the Pixel 3a last year, but honestly, like, if we're talking about what brings in views, then the Note series is.
If you're buying a phone or you're trying to decide to buy a phone for viewing, Jason, then you might as well just go buy a Note 20 or Note 20 Ultra. The A71 or even the Pixel 4a is not going to get you the views that you're looking for.
I know. See, I want to be the guy who says get this instead and make the argument, like the really compelling argument for why you should consider this phone instead of those. But I don't know if that's where the views are. I mean, Rashid thinks
Note season, Jason. You know what time it is.
Rashid thinks that the Note 20 is going to get me views, but not the Ultra. I mean, everybody's covering the Ultra. I don't think I haven't looked specifically, but I don't think I've seen a Note 20.
I think
Marquez even sent his review video of the Note 20 Ultra that Samsung didn't even send out any regular Note 20 to reviewers. So yeah, there's none of those out there.
So
yeah, I think I think there's room for I think there's room to do that phone right there, Jason, because everybody else is doing the Ultra and the regular.
Right.
I mean,
no,
but what if you're price sensitive? You're looking for an alternative. Then you
have a DM alert.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think if it's I don't remember who said it in the chat. I saw it float by, but somebody was like, the majority of people are going to buy, the majority of the average person who's in the market for a Note is going to buy the Note 20 and not the Ultra. Yeah. That's what somebody said. And that makes sense to me. If I take myself out of my like tech enthusiast, I want I want to play with the new toy mindset, and just think about like, what am I losing if I go $300 cheaper, and it's not really all that much. Bob, yes, I'll be a man of the people. That's right. And the Note 20 might be surprising. The Note 20 might be surprising. I don't think a polycarbonate backed phone should be $1,000. That's just, I mean, that is like a non-negotiable. I don't care how good a phone it is. You're asking for too much for $1,000 for a phone like that. But that doesn't mean it can't be a really good phone. So yeah, it could be really interesting. So maybe I've decided. I think I've decided I might actually get the Note 20 and then also get this guy and do a comparison.
Ooh, there you go. Okay, that's a video. That's a compelling video.
Yeah,
that will get some views.
Yeah.
Now,
so
we have talked about the Note enough. It's time to talk about the real news of the week.
What, you mean the Pixel 4a?
Oh God, no, hell no, not at all.
Rewind pillows.
I am talking about Apple versus Epic and Fortnite and everything else in between. Because
boy.
the situation just keeps getting better and better and better.
Well, and some people like, okay, it's kind of an esoteric thing, right? I mean, on the big macro level, you have Epic saying that Apple's a monopoly and blah blah blah, but on the micro level, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. And the thing that's most interesting to me right now is that Apple has decided to go like, for the throat.
Full on Super Saiyan. That's right. Full on Super Saiyan, baby. They're not playing no game with these Epic boys. They're not playing with these dudes.
So they basically have told Epic that they will cancel their developer account.
They will Thanos them, literally.
And that doesn't just mean that you're not going to get Fortnite on the App Store. That means any game, and there are a lot of them, any game that is developed with the Unreal Engine, which is the engine that they use to build Fortnite, and it's just like all games are built on some sort of graphical engine algorithm-y type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if their developer account is this is what I read earlier, if their developer account is terminated, then not only will Fortnite not be on the App Store and Epic Games not be a developer for the App Store, but every game that uses Unreal Engine as its like source will be gone. Every game.
Probably not gone, but they won't be able to be updated. Probably they're not going to work anymore.
Right. So it's like that to me is big, because that's Apple saying, everybody else plays by the rules, and you knew what the rules were when you showed up.
Yeah.
You can't change the rules now because you think you could make more money doing it a different way. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, and
put the hammer down on them like, bam.
I mean, it seems so clear cut, and like, what is this? Epic was obviously ready. They had that video ready, the lawsuit, like it all happened within an hour. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And like, what is how are you going to do this when you agreed to pay the 30 or have the 30% cut? Same thing with Google here. It's mentioned in the chat. I mean, Google booted them as well. I mean, that's how it is. If you don't like it, GTFO. That's just, I mean, that's their terms.
Yeah.
It's and Apple is not going to back down. They've been through this before with other developers and this and that.
Over and over again.
I mean, granted, not as big as Epic, but I mean, like, what is the strategy? Like, I don't understand how the end game.
Apple is literally not making an example out of these dudes.
Yeah, you're not going to win. Like, you're not. No.
And so, and Aditya here is asking, doesn't that sound then monopolistic? And the thing is, it might, on the surface, you might see that and say, well, Apple shouldn't be able to dictate, everything. However, the point is, like, Apple is like Walmart, right? You can go to Apple and you can buy the Apple stuff, and you can get the Apple service, blah blah blah. Maybe Walmart's not a great idea or a great comparison, but it's like a boutique kind of store that sells its own products. That's the place where you can get them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has the App Store. That's part of the deal. And if you want to be on the App Store, you agree to pay the percentage that Apple's asking for back in any kind of transaction you're making, right?
Yeah.
If there wasn't another place to go with your game, if there wasn't an Android, if Amazon didn't have their own app store, if there was no place else to go, and Apple was saying you either pay us or you don't exist, then that would be a monopoly.
And like Andrew Pinero said in the chat, you cannot be a monopoly with a minority of the market. Apple doesn't even have 20% of the entire market, so how can they be a monopoly?
They're not. I mean, they may have a majority market within North America. Go outside of North America, go overseas and see what people use. It's all Android. It's all WhatsApp. Okay.
Well, yeah.
So to call it a monopoly is completely short-sighted.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, you can have a monopoly in the United States and not someplace else. I guess it's possible, but the thing that's interesting to me is that it's like you could say that Microsoft has a monopoly on Windows, right? Because Windows is powering the operating system, powering the majority of all the computers out there, right? Mm-hmm. However, nobody says that. Nobody says that. Yep. You know, if you want something different than Windows, then you either have to buy a Mac, or you have to do Linux or something else. You can't. There's not another like Windows alternative, and that can run on. Well, I mean, I guess Mac OS can run on the machines, but not for long. So yeah, this whole thing about Apple being a monopoly is a misnomer.
It's factually incorrect.
Yeah, because they can't, as long as there are other companies out there, they can't be a monopoly.
Yeah,
exactly.
If Samsung keeps doing what they're doing and ultimately they go down, and then like LG and Huawei and Xiaomi and all the other like 9,000 companies that are making Android phones stop making Android phones, and Apple's the only game left in town, then it's a monopoly.
Yeah. And let's pull the curtain back even further, right? Because everybody seems to believe that Epic is doing it for the little guys. They're doing it for all the developers, blah, 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 blah. No.
That's total bullshit. Yeah.
Epic is doing it for Epic and Epic alone. Even in their lawsuit, it plainly states in their lawsuit that if they could, they would build a competing app store inside of iOS. That's what they want. That's their goal. They don't want to. They want to be in the iOS ecosystem and not pay Apple a dime and have their own app store inside of iOS, which is absolute buffoonery. But that's what they want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're actually doing what Apple does a lot. That's what Apple's doing with the charger. Apple's just wants to make more money, so they're not going to put the charger in the box, and then they're claiming that it's for ecological reasons, right? Mm-hmm. The thing is, yeah, it's for, there will be an ecological benefit, right? But Apple wasn't just like, hey, we should take the charger out of the box so that we don't destroy the planet anymore. They were, I mean, how many? Even if those chargers cost 5 cents a piece, how much money are they making? Because not only do they not have to put it in the box, but they also get to charge $20 for it, right? Mm-hmm. So they're making money hand over fist, and it's just a matter of Epic wanting to make more money off of their incredibly popular platform,
mm-hmm.
right? That's the long and short of it right there. They have an incredibly popular platform. Unfortunately, it's also a free-to-play game, so they have to figure out how like monetize it in a bunch of different ways.
Now, someone fill me in. Does all this affect, including the developer stuff, does all this affect only on mobile, or does it also affect like playing on PC or Mac or whatever?
This only affects playing on in iOS and Mac OS. That's it.
Yeah. Well, but Google is also
So on mobile is what you're saying.
yeah. So this and mobile is I would have to imagine a huge portion.
That's I think it's their biggest thing. Yeah.
I played it when we got those Note 9s and everybody, hey man, can you got that Fortnite skin?
Technically, T had
technically
to
T. Technically, hey, listen, everybody in the chat.
hiding.
If you're in the chat or if you're listening right now, I need you to hit up. No, forget about it.
He had to go into hiding. He's like, you know, he changed his name. He's gone.
Yeah. No,
too many Fortnite skins.
The other thing that nobody's really talking about with this entire situation is that everybody's bugging out because Apple takes a 30% app commission from apps in the App Store. But what nobody else is saying is that 30% that Apple takes is actually standard across all of these digital marketplaces all across the globe.
Yeah, right. Greg's Gadget made a really good point, like a chart of that showing, you know, Google does it, and I guess your argument can be, does that make it right? Well, listen, hey, you're paying that 30% goes to protect that system, protect that marketplace, to protect consumers, do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's the Wild West and everybody throwing their apps up there, and then we know what happens with that. Like back in the old days of Google, right? Before they had
store was terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still not great.
It's only in the last couple of years the Android store or the Play Store. I guess they call it Play Store. Yeah, it has only become like you're pretty much 99% sure most of the time when you're downloading stuff, you know, on their like apps and everything, like, you're gonna be good to go. Right, everything is revealed upfront. You know, in-app purchases, right? And so, like, what do you like? That's what that pays for. Like, this is how business works, right?
Yeah. So, first off, I want to say thank you to Luca for saying that we're his favorite podcast right after Joe Rogan. Which, I mean,
science.
That has nothing to do with this. I just want to push the button.
Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you.
Maybe we can get a Spotify deal.
Cucumber. Let go, baby.
But Lucky Shot asks, Google says that Google is not monopolistic because you can sideload the APKs of the apps. Now, it is true that you can sideload the APKs of the apps. However, even inside of Android, it says this is a dangerous thing. Are you sure that you want to do this? And there are plenty of people who go out and jailbreak their iPhones and do all the other kinds of things.
Yep.
It doesn't, like, Google doesn't provide sideloading as a service.
And I think you also need to look at the audience. For example, just Fortnite itself. Do you know what I mean? Are they going to be sideloading this and that? They just want to be able to
I got a story about that. I got a story about that. So,
yeah,
for those of you all that like to say that, oh, you can sideload on Android, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Fortnite wasn't available in the Google Play Store initially. Yeah. Epic wanted you to sideload it first before they ever got into the Play Store because they didn't want to pay Google the 30% app commission.
It was on the Samsung store through your Note device only.
Right. Or it wasn't available in the Play Store for like, I think the first 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But when they realized that nobody was sideloading it, that's when they capitulated and got into the Play Store, and then their numbers went up.
Yeah.
So even if you have the option of sideload, nobody's doing that.
Yeah. No, and Aditi says that, like, it's not against Apple or Epic or anything, but shutting down Unreal Engine will affect many other companies, including Epic. And that's the point. Like, Epic is the developer of the Unreal Engine. They have a responsibility to the other companies that have paid them the licensing fees that they need to have paid. So Epic is not in nearly, I mean, I don't think they thought this through.
Listen, if Apple can make John Prosser disappear, they can make Epic disappear.
Listen, Jason, I'm glad you brought up that point because people want to make Apple to be out to be the bad guy, but Epic knowingly broke Apple rules, and they had to know that this could be a possibility. So how did that make Epic look? Because I'm pretty sure they knew that Apple could kick them out of the complete ecosystem, kick all their developer accounts out of there. So did Epic not think about this when they were making all this up, when they were trying to think this through, or did they not think this through? Did they not think that this could impact all of these people? I
think that, I mean, I'm not in the room with the people making the decisions. But it seems to me like Epic was feeling their oats. and they were like, "Hey, we're huge now. We have a lot of sway. We can basically hold Apple over a barrel. They need our business."
Here's an interesting comment from
Apple can say, I'll just finish this up. Apple can say, basically, they didn't think Apple would tell them to go jump in the
Apple
lake.
does not need their business. Hello, that's a $2 trillion company.
Yeah. So
Reach Heather Tech says here, why don't we get mad at Fortnite for charging real money for fake money to buy virtual outfits for your character? Pay to play has been around forever, for the longest time.
but that doesn't make it good or right or anything else.
No, it doesn't.
Microtransactions in games are terrible.
Mm.
They're awful.
That's
I mean,
another-
okay, let me think. I hate this. I hate MP3s for this reason too, right? I hate MP3s because at the time that MP3s became a thing, if you were buying a digital album instead of a physical one, then you weren't really buying anything, right? So it's kind of like the same argument. However, if you've got a free to play game and then you sell stuff on top, I guess that's okay, because the people have they're not selling like an advantage in the game, right? You don't get an advantage in playing Fortnite because you bought X skin. Am I correct? I believe so.
Say it again.
You don't get an advantage in Fortnite if you buy, X skin, right?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of times you can earn stuff through gameplay that will improve your character or whatever. But microtransactions are also predatory. They're incredibly predatory because the people that microtransactions are based or are focused on, the customer for microtransactions is usually a younger person who maybe doesn't have as much experience in the world and have as much knowledge as to say, like, should I be paying? Remember when T Martin and all those guys were doing the CS:GO lottery stuff and just like milking people for money,
Leeching off the youth. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, the microtransactions are focused on a subset of the market that isn't mature enough to be able to make always great decisions about how they spend their money.
True story.
And so when you say, hey, you can look like the Joker for $10, then kids are like, yeah. I mean, if I wanted to look like the Joker for $10, I can make that decision, right? Because I'm an adult, I earned the money. And so there. But I'm not the target audience for microtransactions. So Fortnite's business model is already predatory. And now they want more. They want more of the money that they're coming after the kids for. There's just no way to look good. There's just no way to look good out of this. I don't know. I mean, so in Battlefront, see, here's the problem with Star Wars Battlefront having microtransactions. Star Wars Battlefront is a $60 game, right? So, okay, I can see microtransactions for some things, but not like loot crates and all kinds of weird shit like that. Like, in Warcraft, you can go and buy your way to like level 80 or something, which I think is ridiculous.
Well,
right?
if you're just jumping in and you want to catch up to your friends, I don't see that there's a problem with that. Personally, I like leveling. But
well, see, the thing for me though is like, okay, if you're just starting, like, if they want people to come in if they want people to be able to come into the game at a certain point where they are at a level that they can play with other people who've been playing the game, then just make level 80 level 1. But no, they make money. They make more money. That's the problem with it. That's the problem.
But it doesn't strategically give you any advantage, right? So you get to the level, but then you still have to acquire your weaponry and all that kind of stuff, right? Through
Right.
playing, right? Through doing the quests or whatever it might be, right?
But you
Also-
you don't have to do the thing where you run around and kill like little rabbits for 2 days.
Don't forget the Murlocs. Like I
Yeah.
used to be able to do the sound, but anyway, I mean, but you could
Isn't that it?
we need that full screen with the face. That's awesome. But I mean, you can buy mounts, you can buy gold now
Yeah.
with it, but it doesn't necessarily give you an advantage. And I firsthand have seen people come into it. Maybe they didn't play for a couple expansions. They bought the new expansion so they could level up one character. They went and bought a bunch of gold. They bought all the stuff on the store, on the auction house, and this and that. But you're still going to get the best weapons, the best this and that from doing the thing within the game. I think World of Warcraft Blizzard has that proper balance. I think you mentioned before when I was outside the room, by buying stuff through Fortnite, skins, this and that, it doesn't give you a strategic advantage. The game is free,
Right.
but if you want these extra little perks, you can.
Well, see, my point was that this is something that is targeted toward a non-sophisticated financial subset of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When my son was playing Warcraft, like he begged, he pleaded, he was like, "Oh, I gotta have the extra whatever it costs to be at level whatever."
The Note 9 skin, I gotta have it, Jason.
So it's one of those things where I think if you got a good game,
Mhm.
you charge people money for it, and that should be the major transaction. But it's really sketchy to me whenever you can start to make multiples of the original cost of the game. That's why Battlefront to me is a good example.
Mhm.
When you can make multiples of the original cost of the game by selling things to people, then you're being predatory.
Yeah.
And I think that's just not really a good look. And Epic is being outed for their predatory behavior and their avarice and their greed at this point. I mean, say what you want about Apple, but Apple has a marketplace. And in order to be on that marketplace, if you want to cart at that marketplace, then you have to pay the people who own the marketplace.
Okay, let's dial back things a little bit more. Okay, take a look what's in my studio here. Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. Okay. Back in my day. Okay. You couldn't just go on the internet or whatever was available then, BBSs, and get. Nope. Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my Google's acting up. But anyway, back in my day, you couldn't just go online or go to a forum and find out, how to do all the finishing moves or this and that. You had to plug quarters in to figure things out. And all the gaming magazines, what was the big one? GameStop? No, not GameStop. GamePro. Yeah, baby. I still have my issues. Like anyway, GamePro, they would put money into the arcades and get people to, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't just go and get it. So in a way, I mean, you had to keep on paying in order to figure these things out, right? And I'm not justifying. I'm just saying that it's evolved differently now.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I guess you could say that, like, okay, in an arcade situation, you're paying a quarter or 50 cents per round.
I paid
to,
$1 every time. Man.
So, well, I'm older than you, but the thing about it is you weren't spending $60. Now, I've had this conversation with my daughter and my son about playing games.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter will sit and play a game with her phone beside her so that she can have the walkthrough right there should she be stuck.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're not supposed to do it that way.
The hell you ain't. Sometimes you need that. You need it. I used to do
But
things
at
like
the same time, yeah, I mean, if your enjoyment of the game is going to be hindered by the fact that you don't know what the hell to do and you've spent 2 hours trying to do it, then I get it.
hey, if you play no Final Fantasy games, you need that walkthrough.
So I've had to teach my kids recently about microtransactions. So I downloaded on that really budget friendly Android tablet. I downloaded Sonic Dash, I think it's called, and it's like it's like a first person, and Sonic's running along, and you just basically either flip the screen up or down from the jump and go back and forth and everything like that, right? Okay, you do these levels and it's cool. It's got cool graphics and everything, but in order for them to skip the advertisements, you need to purchase their coins, or if you want to get this character, you need to earn this many coins. So I've had to show them that, okay, you're gonna have to sit through these 30-second advertisements that are on here, and no, we can't buy any coins because it costs money, right? And and that's just how this works. To which my son said, well, can't we just pay for the game all up front? Well, that's not how they made this game. My preference personally is to buy a game outright. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, Final Cut Pro as an example. You buy Final Cut Pro once, right? Premiere, monthly cost, right? Or yearly cost, right?
Yeah.
LumaFusion, you buy it once. Where you go. Motion VFX you buy it once. Do you know what I mean? That's my preference. I got it. I own it. No more micro this and that.
So the thing that's really interesting to me about that, as we come into this next console generation, is that both Sony and Microsoft are making console versions that don't have disk drives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're also and Xbox is selling this Game Pass thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so then the games become like a rental, basically. And if Xbox Game Pass goes away in a year, then so does all your money. So, right?
Yep.
And it's a fine line, because it's just like I was talking about with MP3s. Back when you could either buy an MP3 or a CD or a cassette or a vinyl record, there was arguably a lot more value in the physical object, right? But now there's virtually no value in a physical object anymore. So we are at the time when you're buying stuff that doesn't exist. And unfortunately, that makes you in a position to be at the whim of a company to say, we're here, we're not here, you have it, you don't have it. I mean, Final Cut is always going to be there because Apple's not going anywhere. And Apple actually goes the one step further and says, not only is your $300 going to buy you Final Cut Pro, it's going to buy you every update of Final Cut Pro ad infinitum, right? Same thing with Logic Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be one thing if that was the case and they didn't continue to develop on a regular basis, but they do.
We had a similar conversation on Friday about Mulan on Disney Plus.
Yes.
I think that price for at $30 or whatever is it $30, $35?
$30.
I think that's worth it, because let's hold on.
Right,
hear me out.
We'll listen.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, science.
Oh, well, it's not coming through the speakers. But anyway, I think it's worth it. Okay, because so if I pay $16.50, I think it's $16 or $15 for me to get into a movie, and then my son is $10. Okay, so we'll say $25, right?
Yep.
And then we grab popcorn and a drink. We're probably looking at $35, almost $40 as it is, just for the two of us. So if I can pay $35, about the same price, and have the wife and my daughter there as well, and we got it for a couple days, I think that's worth it. If you really want to see it. Otherwise, just chill and wait for it to come out on Netflix or Disney Plus regular without paying the extra.
Here's the thing, like, I already pay for Disney Plus.
Yeah. But you pay for Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a back catalog. It's not necessarily new releases.
So here's the thing about charging $30 for Mulan,
Mhm.
is yes, you're absolutely right. You will go to the, maybe you'll have dinner, maybe you'll get some popcorn and some ice cream afterwards, whatever. You could spend $300 instead of 30 on a family trip to the movies. But it is a family trip to the movies, not you sitting on your couch in your living room. So that's part of the value of that experience.
Well, yeah, big sound, big picture, and everything like that, right?
Well, it's not only that. Like, if being able to watch people go to Disney World
Mhm.
was as good as going to Disney World, then nobody would go to Disney World,
Okay.
right?
I don't know about you. I mean, for myself personally, it takes a lot to get me into a theater to see a movie. I went for the Star Wars movies. I went for the Avengers movies. That's it. Like the New Mutants movie that apparently is going to be finally coming out after 3 years.
Yeah.
New Mutants. I'm not going to the theater to see that, mostly because of current situations and everything. But I mean, it for me,
Is there a theater you can go to?
I actually up here, no, none of the Cineplexes open up. But anyway, it's like watching a hockey game or maybe a football game, like for you guys or baseball, right? I'd rather be at home on my couch, and then I can get up and go to the walk. Yes, the experience of being at a game is awesome, right? But
Yeah.
from a comfort level, I've got this beautiful 65-inch TCL plug. I want to enjoy that, and I've paid for that and everything. So, but that's me. From a comfort level, I guess we'll see the numbers come in, and if because Mulan's a big thing, that's a big name for them, even when it was animated, right? So
This is like the litmus test for whether or not, because let's be honest, the whole COVID thing, shutting down the theaters, et cetera,
Mhm.
has shown how weak a position the movie theater business place is. That I can have a better experience at home on my couch
Mhm.
than I would at the movie theater. But the experience of going and all that kind of stuff, it's all in asking yourself, like, am I getting the right value out of this?
Yeah, and when we wait to go to movies, like I don't know how it is in the United States, but Cineplex is the major movie chain up here. Okay, we do have some independents, but for example, Cineplex, they have in their in certain theaters, they have the seats are divided in such a way that you can bring down the middle arm, and then it's like a love seat. So that's cool when I can go watch the latest Star Wars movie with my son, and we can kind of cuddle up or whatever and like that, and you watch and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like that's an experience, along with maybe the rumble seats. Like they have these things called D-box, right? And the seats rumble. Those are cool, right? Depending on the movie. The big screen, big sound, like you said, like Dolby 8.5 THX.
Become the Canada, man. Y'all got to think that Rumble. Good Lord.
Oh, dude, they're wild, man. They tilt forward, and like when things happen, like it's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
I have never done no type of thing, but I have been to movie theaters that have actual recliners that you recline back and watch.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
and there's a button on the side. Like it's just like the next thing I know, okay, I slept through the movie. But I mean,
I've actually done that too. When we were at CES, I went to see Star Wars for a second time, I think it was.
yeah.
And it was in one of those theaters that had like the reclining seats and stuff, and I fell asleep and missed like half the movie.
Yeah, I missed a big chunk of the Force Awakens because of that seat. The first time, which is why I had to go 2 more times that weekend. But what I'm saying is this. If you put it side by side and then you factor in gas, and then I think $30-$35 is worth it, especially if you're getting like a 2-day rental. Do you know how many times my kids could watch that in 2 days?
See, if I'm paying $30, I want to own it outright in perpetuity.
Okay. Yeah, I understand
for one thing, like, because I can wait for the Blu-ray to come out and buy it for $20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to me, I don't think that it's a good comparison. Like, you're not comparing apples to apples when you compare like a theater experience and everything that goes into that to like basically renting something.
Let me ask you something. As an introvert, because we know you are,
Yeah.
what do you prefer, theater or being at home?
I go to the movies by myself. So
Okay.
that means usually, unless it's like a big, everybody's there, all the seats are full.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
then
the
I'm-
Avenger movies and Spider-Man were fun to see with a bunch of people there. Like that was
Yes,
cool.
I don't like that because
You don't
people
like
make
that?
noise, they talk, they're assholes, they're it's just like
yeah.
stupid.
So,
So I would prefer to be in a theater by myself.
What about Viper? What do you prefer, at home or in the theater, or does it depend on the situation?
well, I'm like Jason. I used to go to the movie theaters. I go to the movie theater I go to the theater by myself. I usually try to go when there's not a lot of people because
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, but I don't mind being in a theater full of people. But when they're like laughing and I miss a joke or something like that, then I get a little upset. So I try to go when it's not too crowded. But I mean, I'm either way. But
Yeah.
if you tell me that I can watch the new James Bond at home on video demand, yes, sir. Yes, please give me that. I will
Yeah.
take it every day of the week.
My wife and I were just talking about that. They were like, if things are still going how they are, we're going to be watching James Bond at home and
Yeah.
Top Gun.
I'm
Maverick.
okay with it. I don't have a problem with this. I
Yeah.
got an LG 65-inch OLED.
I know. I was going to say, man, you get that new beautiful TV, right?
They've been holding on to all these movies that we were supposed to have been seeing all
Right.
summer, right?
Yeah.
Ever since May, we haven't had a summer movie season at all, right? Because they've been holding on to it, and now the cracks are starting to show. And Bob has a good point here. He says Tom Hanks' movie Greyhound was free on Apple TV. And Tom Hanks might not be the box office draw that he was 20 years ago, but Tom Hanks is still an A-list star, right?
And actually, apparently AMC is opening up 100 theaters pretty soon here, which is kind of crazy to me.
See, but this is the thing that's really making me insane. Everybody is just saying, well, they're making choices with the wrong body part.
Yep.
You know, that they're making choices with their grubby little hands that got to get on the money and not with their brains or their hearts when they know that, like, it's just like North Carolina University, right? They brought everybody back, and within a couple of days they shut everything down because they had like a huge spike in COVID. Like, this is a real thing. This is what I don't understand. It's people are dying. 170,000+ U.S. citizens have died because of this virus, right? And I saw this was an interesting article, and I didn't read the whole thing, but the premise of it was really interesting, and I believe it was on CNN. But we haven't seen any sort of like group mourning of these deaths. We haven't seen. Okay, I lived in New York City during 9/11. I experienced the entire thing, front row seat. It was a shit show. But immediately after that, like, there were American flags everywhere, and everybody was like, we were all bonded together in solidarity, and it was a great thing. But if you contrast like the 3,000+ people that died in the World Trade Center, you know, so we're talking less than 5,000 people died, right? It's not in a big outpouring of support and mourning and togetherness from that. 170,000 people die over the course of 6 months, and everybody's like, nobody's paying any attention. No, there's no like, where are the yellow ribbons and shit?
Well, I think part of that can be perception and desensitization.
People don't want to admit that it's happening.
Well, I mean, okay, it's one thing to keep on watching on the television planes being flown into buildings over and over and over and over and over and over and over for like 3 weeks. And then it's another thing to have a 3 minutes news story, and they show a couple clips of a hospital, some blurred faces on ventilators, and away we go. I have yet to see a really deep dive in the horrors behind all this, and maybe people will finally get it, but I think some people are just desensitized and sticking their heads in the sand when it comes to the realities of what's going on. So.
Yeah, no, I that's because they're still in a position where it's an ongoing thing, and your life could be impacted, and it's scary, right? So when planes fly into buildings in a city that maybe you visited one time, and it's a one and done kind of thing, it's a different. You can then say, that event has occurred. I can now have an emotional response to it, right? but COVID has been like a slow motion car wreck for the past 6 months, right?
Mhm.
And it's sort of the same thing as like when my dad passed away. I had a lot of different kinds of feelings about my dad. It was a complex relationship, or maybe it was really simple, depending on how you want to look at it. But I had a lot of different feelings, but when he passed away, then there was like a period on that sentence, and I could start to process
Mhm.
what the whole thing meant, right? And I think because we're still in the midst of this thing happening, that nobody's going to sitting back with this sort of depth of view. They're looking at it like, maybe they've got family members who are affected, maybe, so it's still an ongoing situation, and people aren't reflective yet.
And I think once things calm down, whether there's a vaccine out or whatever, and it's not spreading as much or whatever, then like you said, I think we'll see that deep reflection, and then this and that, and the tributes, and who knows. I mean, there has been tributes here and there, individual families, depending on what's happening. Families that I know and stuff like that. But like you said, it's still ongoing. Everything's still happening, right?
But I tell you what, a lot of it has to do with what the media chooses to cover and how they choose to cover it.
Yep.
Right? The media's take on this is like, okay, we have to report the news, but if we go too deep into how really significant this is, then people are going to turn off the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go watch Netflix. So there will be more money to be made, more viewership to be had when COVID is a thing that's in remission, and we can start to reflect on it as opposed to be in the middle of it. But if the news media could also go incredibly insane and be like, this is the biggest global event in more than a century, let's get our shit together.
It's always interesting to look back at, for example, 9/11, because we've referred it here, to look at the documentaries on History Channel or wherever it may be, right? Yeah. And I go, okay, I remember that. Oh, I remember that news. You know what I mean? So it'll be really interesting in 2 or 3, 5, whatever, how many years it'll be, when we can look back at this and go, here are the missteps. Here's what we did wrong. Here's what this country did. Here's what this administration did. You know what I mean? Right? But
you know what's going to be really scary about that conversation is when we have to admit how many people died that didn't have to.
Yep.
Because of how we've dealt with this.
Yep. Craziness.
I mean, tens of thousands of people that did not have to be in danger of dying from this if we did what was required in order to put this thing into remission.
Yep. All right, changing the subject. We're going back to the previous subject. Jason,
yes.
Were you aware that our very own Verizon is adding Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus to their phone plan starting on Thursday of this week?
Ooh.
I had seen something about that, but I hadn't really paid attention to it, because right now I've got Disney Plus. I'm paying for Hulu. I'm paying for. I'm not paying for ESPN right now, but why would I pay for ESPN right now? There's no freaking sports.
Well, yeah, that's starting to come back. But yeah, I'm with you right now. I think I'm not paying for any of this stuff right now. I got a Disney Plus free for a year through Verizon, actually. Not that year still going on. But yeah, starting on Thursday, I think on some of their unlimited plans, they are adding in Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus bundled into the plan.
Well, my Apple Music is bundled into my Verizon plan right now.
As is mine, yes.
There's hockey in a bubble right now.
Yeah.
My God, Dallas won tonight.
Nobody watches hockey anyway.
Nobody.
Jason's trying to start fights on the podcast.
Jesus, nobody.
Right? I
mean, nobody watches NFL, Jason.
We all know that's not true. I mean, we can just look at the ratings and see what the comparison between hockey and the NFL is. Now, I'm not saying that the NFL is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's got its own problems, but I'm really freaking out because it's college football season. That's what I get excited about. It's
They
college
need to,
football
they need to
season.
do what the NHL has done, and I think the NBA is doing as well. I could be wrong. I can't remember. But basically, the teams and the players and the coaches and the staff, everybody that's involved, is all in a bubble, which means no going out and seeing your family. If your family is with you, they're with you in the hotels. They go from the hotel to the rink and then back. There's two locations, like on the east side of the country of the continent, Toronto, and then on the west side, you got Edmonton, and all the teams are there. They've taken over like whole hotels and everything like that. If the NFL did something like that, which they have the money to do it. If the NHL can do it, the NFL can do it. I think you guys can have a season. Can you have people in the stands? Probably not. No, the NHL has covered up all those seats.
Both of the teams have already come out and announced that there will be no fans in the stands this year. But that bubble act, there are already people that have gotten in trouble for violating that bubble in the NBA. So humans are going to human regardless. So,
and there's been a couple NHL players as well that have recently left. But they've been told you can't come back in for 20 days. Like that's it. You got to pass all the tests and everything like that. So I think as long as strict rules are put in and everything like that, I think you can still have a season. Is it going to feel like normal? No, but at least you're getting something. I think the NHL's done a terrific job of it. So
see, but then you got yahoos like Jerry Jones down in Dallas, who's like, we're going to play our full schedule in front of our fans. I'm like, you're just, I mean, I think about it from the college sports level, from the pro sports level. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in viewership on television, et cetera, et cetera. But man, they make money hand over fist when people show up.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't sell tickets for $200 to NFL games, then that's a lot of money that they're not going to get. So will they save money? Sure. They won't have to pay the people who would clean up the stadiums. They won't have to pay the people, it trickles down. But at the end of the day, yes, I'd love to see a season of college football, pro football, whatever it is. I'm glad that the NBA is going to finish out their season and do whatever they're doing. The thing is, like, it's still symptomatic to me of this overarching head in the sand kind of blindness. It's like Jeff says here, the biggest difference between 9/11 and COVID is that there was like, you had that footage that you could watch. You could watch those airplanes fly into the buildings 100,000 times over and over and over again, right? And the impact of it, pun intended, was obvious. But COVID doesn't have that same kind of visual face. It's out there. We know that it's out there. If it hasn't impacted our lives, then it's not as easy for people to bring in. So I don't know. This is. I'm going to say I don't want to talk about this very much longer, but I will say that this is going to be such. I think about my kids going to school or not going to school in this age. Like my daughter's got 2 years of high school left, and she missed almost half of last year, and things are going to be like way different. We're not going back to whatever happened before. Things are going to be way different in ways that I don't think we can fully appreciate or understand. And some of it will be for the better. Some of it won't. But we'll look back in history, 100 years from now, we'll look back at 2020 and be like, wow, that was an incredibly impactful moment in world history, if we're still here. So, yeah. But anyway, back to phones.
Yes. Back to phone. Back to the technology.
Yes, science.
Jason, our good friend John Prosser has come out recently with some new iPhone leak dates and things like that. So apparently,
hold on. First of all, they got the channel back.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they got the channel back. Everything's being fixed.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but fucking A. I'm glad it got fixed.
Definitely.
I'm extremely happy that happened. Yeah. Where's my daily show?
Well, he's not quite back, but he's getting back. We're pretty much back. So
yeah.
Shout out to you two for taking care of that, because that needs to be taken care of. So I'm glad they taking care of that.
Absolutely.
But, iPhone keynote. Apparently, it's not happening in September this year. It's happening in October. It's happening the week of October 12th. So if history is any indication that October 12th is a Monday, so the event is probably happening on October 13th. Now, a lot of this is because we know that iPhone themselves, the release is going to be delayed because of the pandemic and things like that. So John is saying that the release date for the iPhone 12 regular models have been is pushed back to October, and he said that the iPhone 12 Pro model won't be released until November.
Yeah. So if the time schedule is anything like last year's, that'll mean keynote and everything on the 13th, in your hands on the 23rd or the 16th. I'm thinking.
I think with pre-order, it'll be on your hands on the 23rd for the regular iPhone 12. Yeah.
So keynote on the 13th, order on the 16th in the morning.
Yeah.
In your hands on the 23rd, and then if you do it exactly a month later, I'm thinking ordering on. Well, they wouldn't do an order on Friday the 13th, would they?
But then you're in like Thanksgiving land if you go till the 20th or so.
Yeah, they probably won't wait that far. I'm like Jason said, they probably won't do it around Thanksgiving. But yeah, the Pro models are coming sometime in November. So, Jason, my question to you is, which iPhone are you getting this year? I know you're getting an iPhone.
This is a good question. I mean, I got an iPhone 11 Pro when they were released, but for the majority of the time that we've had iPhone 11s going on, I've had the iPhone 11. And really like it. I mean, there's so many rumors out there. Like Matt's got some stuff up here. Like, I guess it depends. Like, if they look like I want them to look, if they have some of the features that we've been talking about getting. I mean, we already know iOS 14 is like a very significant change for iOS. So I'm anxious to see what it all turns out to be. However, I didn't buy a plus model this year or max model or whatever. So I'll probably get a max. But I don't know. I'm in this weird position now where it's like I can't let go of this LG V60.
I'm more interested in the Series 6 if there's going to be a watch. Sounds like there's going to be.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, will it be a huge update, for example, from this? Like, for example, right now the best deal on an Apple Watch is a Series 3. Absolutely, Series 3.
Like $150 like that.
So I'm interested in that. As long as my watch can get updated, like with the new sleep tracker and this and that, and obviously it will. But there's got to be a significant change, not just in form factor, to go from the 11 Pro Max to 12 Pro Max or whatever it's going to be called. So I'm on the fence. I'm more interested in the watch and the health stuff than anything else. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see if some of the renders that we've seen, where it's got the flattened out, more squared off.
Yeah, in the metal. Yeah.
Like I've never really liked the current design. I mean, basically, the current design is still the same design as the iPhone 6.
Mm-hmm.
Different material, slightly bigger, fatter phones, but still basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never liked it all that much. If we go back to something that has the same kind of design feel, if it feels like a well-designed iPhone, I'm going to be really excited. If it looks like the premium device that iPhones used to look like, right? Then I'm going to be really excited. If it looks like another rounded off, slab of a phone that's no different than the one that came out the year before, other than a new color,
mm-hmm.
then it's hard for me to get excited about it.
So, Jay, you say you're going to get a Max model. Are you going to get the iPhone 12 Max or the iPhone 12 Pro Max?
Oh shit! I forgot. I forgot that they were going to do that.
There's 4, right? There's 4.
There's 4 of them.
There's 4. So there's the 5.4, right?
Yep.
The 5.4 is the iPhone 12.
Yes. And
then the one that is 6.1 inches, which is the iPhone 11 right now, will be the iPhone 12 Max.
I think now to correct myself, I think they're going to call it the iPhone 12 Plus and not 12 Max. So
okay. Yeah. And then there's the Pro and the Pro Max. Max.
Yep.
Okay. I'm talking Pro Max. Because I mean, if I wanted a 6.1 inch iPhone, I'd just keep the iPhone 11 that I have.
Okay, so what are the model names? There's iPhone 12 at what size?
5.4.
5.4 inches.
And then what's the next one at what size?
iPhone 12 Plus at 6.1 inches.
Okay, and then it goes to the Pros and then Max, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so basically they just added a smaller phone below the iPhone, what is now the iPhone 11. And so it sits in between the iPhone SE and the iPhone 12, right? And it'll just be 5.4 inches.
We got a super chat from Shane here. Are you guys getting the Apple Silicon Mac when it drops? How about the Fold 2? When it comes to Silicon, I'm going to wait until like a second generation. Like, okay, so my ironically enough, my Apple Care is not due on my MacBook Pro until April of next year. And hopefully by then there's been we'll have like obviously the first generation, then hopefully we'll have a next, and then we can make sure things are good to go. As for the Fold 2, I don't have the money for a Fold 2, and I like being married, so I'm not getting that.
I am, baby. Fold 2, right here, baby. I'm getting one.
Viper's all about that. I'm single. I'll spend my money life.
Damn right.
They're right. For me, I'm kind of in a situation here.
It looks sexy though. I'm not gonna lie. They made that screen bigger. I mean, it's where, remember we talked about this a year ago. I said second gen, and and I think the biggest issue for a lot of people is this: you couldn't really utilize the first Fold without opening it, and because when you had it closed, the screen was so small because of the bezels. And now they've gotten rid of that. If you guys saw the video from T-Mobile guy, Baldy.
Don't talk about Dez like that.
Okay, yeah, Dez. I mean, we know each other. It's okay. But yeah. If you saw the video from Dez, which Gaskin decided to rip and upload on his Twitter, you fucking hack. But I mean, it looks incredible. It looks incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to get the Fold 2 because I've talked such trash about these folding phones. And I might as well back it up and get one of the phones and see if I still want to talk trash about it. Clearly, I don't like the idea of the foldable. I think it's like a half solution in between like what phones are now and what they will be later. Doesn't mean it can't be a cool thing, but I think I'm going to try and get the Fold 2. I have plans to get the Fold 2. With the Apple, with the Silicon Max. Now, like I said, I'm in a situation. I bought that Razr, and I'm not going to get deep into it because people get pissed off at me. But I sent the Razr back.
No way.
And it wasn't because I didn't want to keep it. It wasn't because it wasn't working out, except for the fact that the screen stopped working. and I just, spent hours with customer support and then like troubleshooting and reinstalling things and updating the BIOS and the blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Nothing worked. So I packed it up. I sent it back. I have my desktop PC here, which is a beast of a machine. My MacBook, remember I dropped a speaker on it?
Yeah.
And the screen is like all sort of, it's totally usable. It's not like the screen's dead or anything, but there are a couple of marks in the screen. So I'm thinking like, since I spent $3,200 on the Razr, right? And it was totally maxed out except for the screen.
Yeah.
Do I spend that same amount of money like on a MacBook now? Or do I wait?
Yes.
I think you wait till like summer of next year kind of thing.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to limp through with this like halfway. I don't have Apple Care. So it's really difficult. Like, could I make it through? Yes. I mean, I could suffer through with my like $2,700 Mac 15-inch MacBook Pro. Yes, obviously. However, like, I've been doing these Amazon things, which have brought some money that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And the Amazon thing is not going on like it was before anymore. So I have money to invest in a computer right now. Although I don't have to, or I could wait. But the problem with the Silicon Macs is the first one that we're going to see is a 13-inch MacBook Pro, right? And then a 12-inch MacBook, something like that. I mean, a 12-inch MacBook for $800, I might just get that to get it and really just be like, hey, let's check this out. If they actually do release a $800 MacBook with Apple Silicon in it. But the Macs that I'm interested in that will have Silicon would be the MacBook Pro 16.
Mhm.
And I don't know when we're going to see that. And the iMac, maybe. But we just got new iMacs. So, and I'm not waiting for a new iMac Pro. I don't know if there will be a new iMac Pro because the new iMacs outperform the current iMac Pro. So it's just like they're I don't know.
It seems like to me that Apple would want to get their silicon in their stuff as soon as possible and phase out the other ones, put them on clearance. I mean, we've never seen clearance, but get them out there. Maybe move those previous models out to the education front that want to pay less for devices and everything like that. So
Yeah, but like we said before, though, the first Apple Silicon Mac will be the entry-level Mac models, like the entry-level MacBook Pro, the entry-level iMac. They're not going to be the heavy-duty ones.
Yeah.
So those will come later on in the transition.
And if history's ever shown us anything, guys, it's that you know they're not going to put their name on something unless they know it's going to perform to their standards and this and that, right? So I would say it's almost safe to buy first generation because you know it's going to go through that testing and everything like that. I mean, it's not like they've ever had problems with their keyboards.
It's one of those things where I feel like it's possible that it could be a complete disaster. I don't think it will be because, yes, we're porting over to a different kind of operating system, et cetera, but it's not like Apple hasn't been making these chips for the past 10 years.
Yeah, and you're talking about a major part of your business. They wouldn't have made this jump and dumped, Intel and everything had they not run the numbers and this and that, right? And the cost and performance, right? What people expect.
Yeah.
When you buy a MacBook or whatever it is, or iMac,
I mean, I saw Genosis said that Max Weinbach had said something about he says, based on what Max Weinbach is saying about the first generation Apple Silicon, I'm waiting. I don't really follow Max, so I haven't seen what he has to say. But unless you have one of those developer Mac Minis and you're running that software and you have an experience with it, I can't put a ton of credence, especially since we're not going to see the finished product for still yet more months.
Yeah.
Right. So
here's the good news, Jason, is if you needed to get something now, we know because of how Apple holds its value, you'll be able to sell that down the road if you need to a few months later. Like I paid $4,500 for mine. That's Canadian dollars.
Right.
Probably close to $3,800, maybe $3,700 US. I'm going to be able to resell this for $2,000-ish or so. And after 3+ years, I think I've definitely got the money out of it that I want to. I mean, you could do the same thing with an Android or a regular laptop, Windows. No, right?
It depends on what laptop it is, but there are very few laptops that hold their value the way that Apple products do.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with iPhones, for example. I mean,
And Bob is right. I mean, MacBooks are not enterprise level computers like the ThinkPads. The higher end ThinkPads that had like the Quadro chips and all those, or Quadro graphics cards and all that kind of stuff. Those things are real enterprise level computers. The thing about the MacBook is that it's the best of both worlds without being seriously deficient in one or the other. So you can use it as a desktop and it runs everything extremely well, or you can use it as a mobile computer and do that. And they've got right now with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, they've got everything working. They got a good keyboard, they got a better screen. They actually bumped the storage sizes, but kept the prices the same. So there's more quote unquote value there. And I had to make a decision over this past week about my entire computer life. Ever since I had to return that Razer, I had to make a decision about my entire computer life.
But if it was working before, why didn't you just get it exchanged because of the screen buggered out? Do you know what I mean?
Well, because the ramifications of moving from Windows or moving from Mac, particularly for my audio stuff, to Windows.
Yeah.
I mean, it was working fine. I was doing live streams and everything like that. The Studio One is a great program, and that's what I was going to use on Windows. But I just started to look around, and it's like you can go one of two ways with the Studio. You can have hardware, and that hardware can integrate with your computer, and you can have a lot of it, or you can go with something that is like a software solution that does the same thing. So I decided to reinvest in the Universal Audio system of plugins and interfaces and that kind of thing
through Mac.
And Universal Audio now has their own recording platform.
Okay.
That's Mac only.
Okay, yeah.
So my test right now is finishing a couple of projects in that and then seeing where I am.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like well, I mean, we're on StreamYard, which only allows for one input, one camera. But with this piece of software called Loopback from Rogue Amoeba,
right,
you can funnel a whole bunch of things into the output, and then.
Well, see, I can do that too. Like that's what I was trying to get worked out
with the Windows.
Well, no, I can do that with Windows. You can do it pretty easily because they don't have a cap on the way their audio works. It's not elegant, it's not efficient, and at halftime it doesn't work. But it's more flexible than what Mac gives you.
Okay.
But with Universal Audio and their interfaces, they also have like a virtual console that is like a mixing board, and you can bring stuff back and do the same thing that Loopback does. I have a Loopback license. I never spent the time to really figure out how to get it set up. But
it's ridiculously easy. I mean, it's all big icons. It's very straightforward. I mean, I click this little plus. I could pick from different sources like Chrome, Messenger, Siri. So then if I play a sound through them, like for example with Spotify or whatever, I can have music in the background. I mean, it's very, it's Mac only, so it's very friendly.
No, I just every now and then I don't like to do this. I don't like to do this a lot, but every now and then I gotta be the guy to think I told you so. And Jason knows where I'm about to go. I don't know to tell you, Jason. I don't understand. Woo! Oh my Mac, man. You're always running away from the Mac, but you come back to the Mac. What's that quote that said in the end game? He said, what do you mean? You couldn't live with your own failure. And where did that lead you? Right back to me. You always run away from the Mac. You end up going back to the Mac.
I know. Well, I know. It's on. The thing is, like every year, I'm like, Windows is getting closer and closer and closer, and I'm really intrigued by it. Like again, I'm a guy who just likes to fiddle around with tech, but when it starts to take away from my ability to be productive, then I have to go back to the thing that I know works.
You know what, Jason? Fiddling with tech is one thing, but you don't fiddle with the workflow. We don't mess with the workflow, Jason.
I agree. I agree with that entirely. Like, this wasn't the first time that Razer has. I got a 2018 Razer Blade base model, the 15-inch base model, and it was wonky. But that particular year of Blade models was known to be weird. customer service, like I have to say, like I got on chat with somebody from customer service. We did some troubleshooting, et cetera, et cetera. It all happened like in real time, basically. So their quality control in terms of customer service was really good compared to a lot of other companies I've worked with.
Yeah, I've heard they're really good. Yeah.
But they didn't used to be really good. They didn't. It used to be like they were a gaming mouse company that made computers and they didn't know how to support them, you know. So I'm always intrigued by the different thing, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It's frustrating, but I need to get myself to a point where I don't screw around with anything anymore. Like maybe if I could have like a test setup where I could just fool with things all the time, but have like my regular setup be unchanging, then that would be optimal.
You can do that. You have the space. You have the power.
Yeah, it's just I do want to start covering more like PCs and Macs and just like more of that kind of stuff, but the barrier to entry is really just the cost.
Yeah. All right, Jason. We've hit the 1 hour and 40 minute mark of the podcast, and I think it might be time to wind things down. So I have a transition for all three of us. Movie recommendations from all three of us, whether it's Netflix, Amazon, or Disney. I'm going to say right now, we talked about it earlier today, Project Power.
Yep.
Project Power. And if you're a Casey Neistat fan, you'll love it. Yeah. He actually played
Neistat get punched in the face.
Yeah, he gets all sorts of messed up. You know, and if you're not used to seeing him without his sunglasses, you may not recognize him right away. But I mean, it's got the Neistat hair. Project Power was a lot of fun. From my understanding, this entire movie was filmed, quote unquote, in a bubble when everything kind of went down. So the actors and the staff and production, everything everybody was all in a bubble. That's my understanding. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, Project Power. It's on Netflix. Definitely give it a go. It's really go. It's got a really good story. Jamie Foxx, Gordon,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, that guy. Robin. And there's a few others and everything, but it's good. I would definitely recommend.
See, it's interesting. Like I watched it and I enjoyed it. It was kind of like, okay, that was okay.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't blow me away.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but it was a good popcorn flick. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if I were going to this is like Netflix has this niche of their own, where it's like they're making these films like Extraction and Old Guard and now Project Power, which are, and they did before, like Will Smith had one a couple of years ago. They get big names. The movies themselves might not be movies that would be like tentpole summertime blockbuster movies, but they're not bad, right? So we get these movies now, and it's pretty cool that we do, but it's almost like somewhere between like A-list and B-list movie is where these Netflix movies exist. You know, you get the good players, you have some interesting stories, some acting is good. There's opportunities to take some risks and do some things differently, but it's not entirely up to the same level as like what you would expect if you went to an Avengers movie.
That's how I felt when I watched. Oh my god, it's free on Amazon right now. Bad Boys for Life. Okay, as a fan of the first two Bad Boys movies with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, Bad Boys for Life was, at least it admitted to itself throughout the movie that, okay, we're old and, we're not what we used to be. But I was just, just like, what is this? Come on. And
that joke gets old after a while.
And I mean, it was a good story and everything like that, but
yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing that's like, I would put that movie like a notch or two below like a Project Power or an Extraction or something like that.
I would totally put Extraction above Bad Boys for Life and Project Power. Absolutely.
But I can also see why Extraction wasn't made for a big time, like made for the big time theater circuit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it was a good story, but it wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah, more about action than story. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was
Okay,
big.
so Viper, what's your pick for movies or whatever platform it might be right now?
Oh man. So I haven't really watched movies per se. I've been watching a lot of shows lately. The last movie I watched was Project Power, and that was pretty good.
Mhm.
I've been watching a bunch of shows lately. One underrated show that I watched on Netflix. I took a channel and I really enjoyed it. Called Wu Assassins. It's this show about this chef who found out that he's this special assassin and that he has to go around assassinating all these other warlords and things like that. It's kind of crazy. It's set in modern times and it's kind of crazy. So I watched that. I watched the Legend of the Monkey. That's about the Monkey King or whatever. I watched that too. That's okay. Right now I'm watching The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, which is a couple of animes about I don't know, Japanese anime or whatever. So that's cool. And I'm also watching the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina too now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what is what's the JTL watching? What would you recommend? In the platform.
I just went through like Hulu because I've had a Hulu subscription for a few months again, and I hadn't really been watching it. So I just went through and picked some stuff out of there. We did watch Project Power over the weekend. Enjoyed it okay. However, I've gone down this YouTube rabbit hole again. And it's really, really unfortunate. And I've been in this rabbit hole before, and I don't understand why I get stuck here. Thank you, Gabriel, by the way, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. But like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy, the Toe Bro. Like they have actual TV shows now, but they started doing this stuff on YouTube, and I watched. You watch it like a car wreck, one after the other.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've gone from that to watching cow hoof trimming videos. Right? I don't understand how I got to cow hoof trimming videos.
That's amazing.
But I did. So I've just been kind of doing that and watching too much YouTube that is completely worthless. And of course, once you start watching the zit popping and the toe stuff, then you start to get the massage the chiropractic videos.
Oh yeah, I hear this big thing now. Yeah,
chiropractic videos are pretty amazing
with the cracking and everything. Yeah,
because there's like the ASMR thing of the cracking, right? But then there are some people who do those videos where it's like the only patients that they feature on their channel are like very good looking women. And it almost becomes like a softcore porn thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is weird. But I watch it like a train wreck. So I'm looking to get into something a little bit more. That's why I went through Hulu yesterday. And like there are HBO shows like The Leftovers that I never watched. There are a bunch of different series that I never watched that I need to just like stop grazing. I've just been grazing on YouTube trash for the past couple of weeks.
You know, it's been a really good rabbit hole for me. I started watching a lot of like I was going back through binging with Babbage, his whole catalog and everything. Yeah. And then I came across a guy named Joshua. I think it's Joshua Wiseman. And he's got this series. I think he hit 1.2 million subscribers. He's got this series called But Better. So he'll make his own Baconator, but better. His own Domino's pizza, but better. Right. And it's an amazing series because he goes through like he made his own Doritos, like with the cheese and everything, but better. And I like the way he edits it together. It's kind of goofy and fun, everything like that. But he goes into a lot of detail, like so many cups of this, and that's been fun to watch. And not when you're hungry, though. But I mean, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it's making me hungry right now.
So Jason,
yes,
do we have an ETA on the Enclave video?
the Enclave video. I shot the unboxing footage. I have a little bit of a script for the A-roll. So I'm hoping this week or over the weekend, if not this week. I got last week I got ahead of the game, and I was really excited about it because I filmed the 3 videos that I released last week. I filmed on Monday morning, one after the other, and so all I had to do was edit them and then release them as the week went on. So that's what I wanted to do yesterday, but again, like, I couldn't sleep. I was awake at like 3:30 in the morning, so I just hadn't had enough sleep for my brain to work. And then today the same thing happened. So I'm behind for this week. I know I've got Galaxy Note. I know I've got a couple of other things that I'm going to unbox that may make their way into videos or may make their way into like YouTube stories or something like that. But at the same time, yeah, I need to get the Enclave thing going. So it'll be soon. It'll be soon.
Cool.
It'll be soon.
Also,
Forward to
XM4, Jason, XM4.
You saw it in the cart. I even revealed my address to the world.
Damn the cart! I want to see if they ordered. Come on, Jason, stop playing.
All right. It's coming. I'm getting it.
You say that they will be back here in December. Jason, did you order the XM4? No, it's in the cart.
Cucumber.
I have promised that I will get it, so I will get it. But it's not coming out for like 2 weeks.
It's out already. What are you talking about?
Well, I can't get it on Amazon.
Oh yeah, because you waited too long. I told you. You waited too long. Actually, if you have I don't know if you have a Best Buy or you order from Best Buy, you can get it faster.
I know, but
They put you at the Amazon stash.
I got special Amazon money. So anyway, that's the show, right? That's the show. Wow, we went all over the place tonight. So thank you all so much for being here and hanging out. Wow. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going to be happening. A lot of stuff that's, I don't know. It could be a great week. It could be terrible.
What are you doing, Black? Put her back on.
So anyway.
Well, it was drowning him out.
Go ahead and play the thing, and then, I'll so we're working on some different audio cueing this time. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Jason. Sometimes known as the JTL. This is the Completely Honest podcast so honest it hurts. Until the next time, we are out.